but a very important question. My question is, Mariam, can you please share the screen for the question?
Yeah, just give me a moment. I am.
Okay, sure. I'll let you know the question. The question is that, do you believe that climate change has different impacts on women and men? I mean, if there is a climatic disaster in a particular area, what do you think, that do women and men face the same challenges or no?
You
Your
can
response?
you can use the link in the chat to drop your answers.
Yes, the link. Your response is highly appreciated, guys.
So we are seeing, although we have majority saying yes and the minority is saying no, but we have the mixed opinions. So this conversation is going to be really fun to let everyone know that how the climate change impacts everyone and how disproportionately it affects. So thank you so much for dropping your answers. And Iman, over to you.
Okay. So as we have very insightful answers, glad to see some no's and ready for a debate. Okay, so moving forward, as we are well aware of climate change is not just a story of impending disasters. It basically affects people every day, and it comes at a high cost. Okay, so it basically affects all the communities around the world. But the cost is often paid by women and girls in the form of their future, let's say, safety, their well-being, their dignity in lives, etc. Coming towards the concept of climate change is not gender neutral. It basically refers to the understanding that climate change disproportionately affects different genders, which means there's an imbalancement, there's an inequality. For the people who said no, listen up. It basically recognizes that women and men experience the impacts of climate change differently due to, be it social factors, economic factors, or political factors. Now, due to this gendered differences, women and girls, and also the gender minorities, they face specific life-threatening impacts after the climatic-related disasters. The risk of, let's say, gender-based violence, which also includes sexual assaults, raping, harassment, etc., it escalates, it increases. For example, in some areas, we are well aware, girls are sometimes forced into child marriage when families are, they're relying on this practice as a survival strategy during, let's say, droughts. Moreover, women, they are often more vulnerable to climate change because they have less access to resources such as water, land, and they're more likely to experience poverty and food insecurity. In many societies, women are also responsible for the care of their whole families. Okay. And the impacts of climate change can place an additional burden on their workload, like more energy, more efforts. So women may also experience higher levels of violence and discrimination during these disasters, during this displacement and migration. So I've talked enough about women. Let's come to men. So in contrast, men may be more likely to work in sectors that contribute to climate change, such as, let's say, fossil fuel industries, and they may have more access to resources and decision-making power in societies. Now, recognizing that climate change is not gender neutral is essential to developing effective solutions to mitigate its impacts. Now, addressing gender disparities and promoting gender equality can help ensure that all members of society are included in efforts to adapt to and to mitigate the climate change. It is really important to involve women and other marginalized genders as well in decision-making processes and to create policies that take their specific needs and vulnerabilities into account. And by doing so, we can work towards a more just, sustainable, and resilient world for all genders. I hope I was very clear. If you guys have any questions, come forward. Otherwise, I'm handing over to Ifra. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. I see nobody's mentioned any questions. So I'm gonna proceed. If you have any questions, you can still leave them in the chat box and we will go to them. All right. Now, I would like to invite each one of our speakers to share their views on the theme for 2 minutes, one by one. Please make sure to keep the time in mind and limit your talk accordingly because it is very important to us that everybody gets a chance to share their views. Make sure to give clear statements. And now I'll be calling upon each speaker, and I request you to please unmute yourself and turn on your cameras because we will be recording you for our social media platforms. Thank you. So you can raise your hands and we'll call you accordingly.
Ifra, we have Audino for this, and you can go with go with him, and everybody else can follow the pattern.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Yes, so please share what you wanna share with us.
I am John Otieno from Kenya. I'm not sure whether I'm the one to speak. Am I? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, please continue.
Yeah, my name I'm John Otieno from Kenya. A final year undergraduate student at Pony University down at the coast. The question that whether climate change is gender bias, that is, whether it affects women more than men. The answer is yes. Climate change affects women disproportionately to men. One reason why it affects women disproportionately to men is one reason is culture, the roles that women are expected to play, the responsibilities that women have, and overall our expectations from women. For example, where I am right now, down at the Kenyan coast, it's among the Mijikenda community. If I can use it as an example, today at around midday when I walked out of my house, I saw an old woman carrying water from a water point to her house. I decided to help because that was the right thing to do. When I got to her house, her sons were there seated. The sons were seated, yet the woman is the one who had gone to fetch water. That means that society expects women. That is the role of women in society according to this community. Is women are supposed to fetch water. Men are not supposed to fetch water. So now with the drought that is affecting Kenya right now, women walk long distances. Women and girls really walk long distances in search of water. Men don't do that. And that's the longevity of the drought is due to climate change. Also, we also experience greater impacts of climate change other than men. Even on television, when you see women, like the last unfortunate floods in Pakistan, you could see women are the ones who are being captured with their children on their backs. A man can decide to run away and leave the children, but a woman, due to the maternal instinct, will never run away from her children. A woman will die for her children. And when during natural calamities or such as earthquakes, like the one in Turkey that happened in Turkey, unfortunately, and the floods in Pakistan, unfortunately, the women are the ones who get impacted more negatively than men. That is because the maternal instinct, the roles that the society expects them, the responsibility and the position of women in culture. However much educated a woman is in certain communities, mostly in the global south, that is the developing countries, however much a woman may be educated, there are roles that a woman is expected to play in society. These roles compacted compounded with climate change now, compounded with other inequality factors, makes it more difficult for women to approach and address factors impact of climate change as they are supposed to. Also, if you look at the studies done by UN Women, you will realize that some of their findings cement the argument that climate change affects women disproportionately to men. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If anybody else want to go, please raise your hands.
I can see Imran raising her hand. Imran, you may go on.
Yes, please unmute yourself, Imran.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, Imran, you're audible.
Yes, thank you. Basically, I am Imran Hussain. I'm from Gilgit-Baltistan, Pakistan. Gilgit-Baltistan, Pakistan is a big word, is the north region of Pakistan, and in our area, debris event is the main issue. Climate change, the main climate change, major climate change occur in our region due to large number of glaciers and other geographical as well as geological importance. In our area, debris events, glacier lake outburst flow are the main disaster that occurs. Due to these events, we peoples, both men and women, are directly or indirectly affected. First of all, I will mention you that due to debris events, many houses as well as their cultivated fields affected. So it's not only affect the men as well as women. In my point of view, women are more effective as compared to men, because in our region, the area is basically cultivated areas, and majority of women work in their fields. So when the disasters as well as glacier lake outburst flow events occur, they directly depend on the economy of people, majority on women. So in my point of view, climate change directly affects the life of women. Thank you.
Thank you, Imran. I saw somebody else raising their hands. Please unmute yourself. So far, you guys have shown a very good understanding of how the climate is affecting women and men differently. And I'd love to hear somebody else's thoughts on it. If anybody like, they can raise their hand, please.
Sarah, you can go ahead.
Assalamualaikum. Hi everyone. I'm Saira from Karachi. Okay, so I want to say on this topic that women are the most impacted by the climate change. Last year, we had severe flooding in Pakistan in the northern areas, in the Sindh side, Baltistan side, and Karachi was also affected. where I study, the university I study, we have the students from the interior synth, and I literally saw many girls who had to drop their studies because over there the infrastructure was totally like disturbed. And their how like the way they were earning, it got disturbed, and they had to stop their studies. They had to pause their semester and go back to their homes. And being in Karachi, Karachi was not that affected like the other cities, but being in Karachi, I saw myself that women from the interiors had to move to Karachi, and they were forced to do household works like they had to work in other homes to feed their families, and their situation was so bad that we in Karachi, we many people know that we have very small centers where we give food to others, that's for free, and it's actually for the sake of goodness for the others. And there were so many long lines, and people had to wait to get their food, and the majority people had to shift. And the majority that shifted, there was more ratio of women that faced all the issues due to climate change. Even still, it is 1 year has passed, and right back there to their homes in Sindh and Balochistan, the infrastructure is still not developed. And even now, we have predictions that we will again have to face the same scenarios we saw past year, and women are literally get affecting too much, especially their mental health. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Saira. You can go ahead. I'm going to ask you to unmute. To share, how do you pronounce your name? Please also share that.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon, how are you?
Fine, I'm Tutare from Nigeria. The little I want to add on this theme is that yes, climate change do affect both gender, but to me, to my understanding, it affects the female gender more than it affects the male gender, because number one, the female are lacking training on the effects of this climate change and how they can go about it. And also it has traits on their livelihood and safety, looking at how they suffer for their family. And also they don't have access to reach out their livelihood resources, which most of the times give them difficulties when we look at how we are distorting the ecological habitats in today's world. The women suffer the most when it comes to getting maybe the food for the family, getting firewood for cooking, and all these. These are things that women have to get is very easily to keep on moving their daily activities. But with what we are into today, they are finding it difficult to get all these livelihood activities. So this is the little I want to contribute. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Herbert, you want to say something? Please unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. Good afternoon, good morning to everyone. I'm so excited to be part of this Zoom meeting on women and climate change. So my contribution, I would want to say that there's need for the governments to make sure that women are empowered in issues to do with climate change. Well, in empowerment, what I mean is that women should take lead if there is climate change effects. Women should be given the first priority in terms of leading on issues to do with climate change. For example, if we have got floods that have happened in a row area in communities in Africa. Women should be part of the team that has to work on those disaster issues. There must be some frameworks that supports the women emancipation in issues to do with climate change. Then number two, I also want to say that there must be an immense research that has to be done on issues to do with climate change in terms of the role of women. The research should be focusing on the vulnerability of women. What are they supposed to be given in order to make sure that vulnerability is to end? Because it has been discovered that women in disaster, women in climate change, they've got the same relationship. So there must be a lot of research on the priorities that has to be given to women in issues to do with climate change. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Herbert. Hamza, please unmute yourself.
Hello guys, I am Hafiz Muhammad Hamzaziz from Pakistan. I am student of Agriculture University, Faisalabad. First of all, I wanna congratulations to our host Mariam Ikan to become a national focal point of Pakistan from the United International Federation of Youth. So let's come toward in my topic. We have climate change, hot issues. Climate change impacts everyone, but not equality. Climate change is not gender neutral. It affects men and women differentially, with profound adverse effects on women due to existing social inequalities because climate change exacerbates these inequalities. It is therefore that the vulnerable groups within societies, like in India, if we have a recent example, like a woman, single woman pronouncing Allahu Akbar, and so many people around them, her to restrict their education, and so on. We have all of you know that about. So it is therefore not a vulnerable groups within the societies who suffer the most from its negative impacts. The societal roles and responsibilities attributed to the women mean they have less access to the resources and information and are less included in decision making, like in political participations and lower structures, power structures. This results in women having low adaptive capacities to cope with the impacts of a changing climate, and as such, they face disproportionate negative impacts compared to the men. If we compared with the men and the women in Pakistan, so we have last month ago flood. We have a natural disaster, flood in Pakistan. Almost all areas of the Pakistan affected by natural disaster, in which all of the male students from my side, all the male students from my university agriculture, they manage their the activities and educational from some like hardworking themselves to reach their institutions where the education and their relative courses are engaged. And similarly, on the other hand, we have the girls and a lot of faculty members. They have not opportunities and facilities to give education institutions and resources. So this is a main gap between the men and women in Pakistan and developing, especially in developing countries. So it is I mean a lot of research we have required on that topic, and the climate change gender not a gender neutral. That's all from my side. If you have any questions, so I want to a question answer from them.
Okay, thank you so much, Hamza. I see two more people wanting to talk. We'll stop after that. So you guys, if you can quickly give your views, it will be appreciated. Gabu, please go ahead.
Okay, good evening. Thank you all for organizing this wonderful event. And I would like to thank Ms. Maria Mdende for this. But also want just to contribute a bit of climate change. Actually, currently we are facing with a few stakeholders in climate change mitigation and strategies to combat it. The effects brought from climate change. So what we should do, we as youth and young leaders, we have just to advocate and to raise much awareness because climate change effects are both affecting women's, young youth, and even elders because we can see that most of women also they are the one who are responsible for firewood collection in rural areas. Once they use this firewood as an energy source, they are also being exposed to, we call it respiratory problems. So we have to also to advocate on clean cooking energy. Once we advocate from clean cooking energy, we can also stop deforestation. Then we can safeguard young youth, women's and elders, because they're the one affected by this challenge of climate change. But also because youth and young people are the one who owns the future and the next.
Hello, Gabo. I guess he has faced an internet problem. Maybe if we can move on to the next person.
Yes,
One
Joseph, you're our last speaker. We will move on to our next segment then. Please continue.
Okay, hello everyone. So my name is Joseph and from Tanzania. I hope everyone is okay. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. So on
Yes,
my
we
point,
can hear you.
okay. So on my side, I think on our country we have reached a point that we can say everyone is being affected by this climate change, and on both gender, both women and men, but mostly on the women who are in the rural areas are the one which are being affected more. But in our country, I think the women have been given so much opportunities. Now the women are in the decision making opportunities. So I think in our country, we have reached a point where we can say it's not about who is being affected, but on how these women are going to be educated or more on the issues of the climate change and how are they going to play a part on the decision making and even helping others who are being affected. So I think that's what I can say. The women should be educated more in order to play part on the decision making. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm very pleasant. I feel very pleasant to hear all of you views. I see everybody contributed in the chat section and here in the here as a speaker. Next part of our conversation, it's going to be. I have a question that you're gonna. I'm gonna an answer from you people, and the question is, how can we solve the disproportionate impacts of climate change that we see on men and girls. So you guys take a few minutes to think about it. You guys have already given such good suggestions, like people needing a seat, women needing a seat at the table in decision making. But yes, I see a lot of hands being raised. Kindly unmute yourself. Joseph, you can go ahead and please share your thoughts.
I think you can move to Basil.
Yes, Basil.
No hand.
Please ask the question.
Basil, you're welcome.
Hello,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, this is Basil. Can you all hear me?
Yes, Basil. Please continue.
Yes, I wanted to pose out one thing that can you please type the question because we have not gotten you correctly. Please help us get the question typed and we shall concentrate on that matter.
Yes, you can see.
Hello?
Hello?
Abuzar, we have shared in the chat. You can see the question in the chat. Also, you all can put your answer on the Menti. And if is having some issues, technical issues at hand, that's why I have shared in the chat. The question is that how can we solve the disproportionate impacts of climate change on women and girls? Because we have seen a lot of people sharing their views that how women are being impacted very severely by climate change because of their vulnerable situations, because they are on the family ways. Sometimes they have their hygiene and safety problems, and they are more prone to, what do we say, what they're more prone to environmental disasters, they're more prone to sexual assault, they're more prone to harassment. So looking for that situations and everything, just let us know that what do you think that how we can solve these problems. And I have shared the link in the chat. Herbert, thank you so much for sharing it again. The question is here and you can start answering it. And also if you are comfortable in sharing while unmuting yourself, you can do that as well. Iman, would you please take the floor and ask everybody individually to share their views? Meanwhile, I will share the screen.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Can I start?
Yes, Abuzar, go ahead.
Yeah, I am Abuzar from district Zob, Balochistan, Pakistan. For your further information, Zob is area 12,500 square kilometers, and such a area is located near Pak Afghan border. And you may know that such area having a large of chunks of the olive trees of such as olive pistachio and as well as chalhoza. And such a trees have characteristics which catches snow and rain, as well as it synchronize the carbon naturally, and that catches the snow from 10,000 kilometers roundabout. So recently I write a proposal in this regard, and I'm in contact with the Pakistan ILC department, and they have supported. They have committed their support in regard of the provision of fund to plant 2,16,000 trees of olive, which from which by which will the olive oil would be extracted around about 30 crore Pakistani PKRs. So in this regard, if we have someone donor, if he can support us in this regard, so we will cover all the things which men, human, and women are faces here in district Zob. So kindly, if anyone support us in this regard, my organization is ready to do something special to toward the noble cause, particularly to prevent the measurement effects of the climate change in our area. Ji, please.
Thank you, Abuzar. Your points have been noted and they'll be published soon.
Hello.
Yes, Abuzar.
Please. Okay. This is Basil Manamba from I Believe in Green. I hope I should go directly to the question: how can we solve the disproportionate impacts of climate change on women and girls? First, we must understand that the issue of climate change is well known all over the world right now. And when we prioritize on something, that means we have seen what that thing has done. We can only solve the issue of disproportionate by first impacting more funds to women, because now we need to show the law of women. We need to remove that gap that the women are given a too small chance to participate in this matter. So when we offer funds to women, if we offer funds to more women, then we have given this authority too over women that they have that law of fighting against climate change. But two, the second thing is exposing out, or we can saying that telling the world how far have women preyed on climate change, because always when something is given less privilege, that means its law has not been that much exposed. Now we need to show out what women have done already about climate change. We need to give them fund that they must be the role for something. And the very last issue is that we must identify key player women that have come up with climate issues that are actually the change of this issue of climate change. Because when we look at the issue of climate change at its broader perspective, we are talking about a fight now. Can we talk of women who have a fight against the climate change? Please, we have that role to give out women who have prayed that much for the issue of climate change, but two, giving more funds to women to show out that they can manage this thing. They can also do something to make a change. But also, the last thing is impacting this matter to women. If you come to the society of Tanzania, women are mostly given a job to be family carers, people who take care of the family. Now, we need to give this another thing to women. If they can take care of the family, that means the issue of climate change has to be impacted in their minds. Their minds must first be educated. They must be given this and take it as their own responsibility. So that's far I can talk about this matter of disproportionate. If we want to make women the key players in this matter, give them funds, take them all over the world and tell the world that women can do this. Thank you very much, guys. I'm enjoying the discussion with you.
Thank you, Basil. It was very insightful. Asad Khan, you can unmute yourself.
Hello. This is John. Can I say?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity again. So, in looking at ways of addressing or addressing the disproportionality of climate change in relation to men and women or in relation to gender, I think one thing we need to recognize is climate change is the greatest threat to humanity today, and it needs our combined effort, everybody, both young, old, women, and men. All of us need to come on board to address climate change, all as humanity, all of us. That includes women. And let me make something clear.
I think he has lost his connection. Anybody else? Please come forward.
We can have Ms. Tutare Swaiba.
Hi, thank you once again for this wonderful and lovely opportunity. The little I want to talk on is to solve this climate change effects or impacts on women and girls. The first thing is we have to look at what is the major contribution to this climate change. As it was being discovered that 75% of major contribution of climate change is the carbon dioxide emission. So to get a solution to this, to me, I think we educate and create awareness to women and effect on the effects and impacts of these climate destructive activities they are experiencing, and also using of environmentally friendly technologies. Like if we said the carbon dioxide as a major cause of climate change, we can educate women on the reduction of the carbon dioxide emission, just like cooking with the firewood or using all these stuffs that maybe use kerosene, petrol, diesel, or other thing, maybe they can use a more friendly way, which will reduce this carbon dioxide emission, and also on planting of trees, which is one of the major thing, because if we look at it, the trees help us to clear out the carbon dioxide in the planet. So with high amount of trees and making the planet a greenish vegetation, I think it can eradicate, or at least it can maybe reduce, let's say 60 to 75% of the amount of carbon dioxide, which if this is removed, to me, I think it will be a wonderful contribution to climate actions, and also it will help as much as possible to climate destruction. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Your input is appreciated. Next, Emily, can you unmute yourself?
Thank you. My name is Emil Alandogo. I'm from Tanzania. In the issue of how we can solve this climatic change impact to women and girls, I think, as we can see, men and boys, we have to play a big role here, because if we remove the ideology of some of the activity which have been done by women and girls, which are greatly impacted or caused by climate change, they have to be done by us, men and boys, so that we can remove some of the activity to women and girls. So this have to start with us men and boys, removing the ideology of leaving some of the activities to women and girls, which have a great impact to them. So if we can join hands together and starting educating men and the boys that this has to be done by you and not only women, not only girls, I think we can change and remove the burden to women and girls. Also, another issue is to reduce what is causing the climatic change in the world. So if we can achieve what is causing the climate change and reduce or minimize them, I think we can also reduce the burden to women and the girls. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. I love the point where you said that men should be well aware of the situation. Like if the men of that particular affected area know the scale of damage that has been done and they're well aware of the consequences faced by women, they can help a lot. Who do we have next? Please unmute yourself.
We have Herbert Chitongo.
Herbert, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much once again. Yeah, I also think that climate change is just to be looked at the role between the private sector and the government. Yeah, we should be able to examine what's the role in terms of the integration between the two, the civil society organizations and the government. There must be a stronger relationship between the government and the private sector. You know, the government usually take leads in addressing climate change, but there will be lack of funds. So there must be an interplay between the two. The private sector should come with finance to fund the climate change issues that is affecting women. So it means that if we cross-check the relationship between the two, the private sector and the government, that's why you can see, that's why we are able to address the issues of climate change. Then number two, I also wanted to look at the policy making process. There must be a policy that needs to be put in place that caters for the role of women in addressing the climate change. There must be a closer look, also the review of those policies that have been put in place by the government to make sure that women are catered for in terms of the climate change. Yeah, those are the 2 points that I want to look at. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Now, please open your cameras for a picture.
You can all turn on your cameras so we can have a good picture. Please, Mariam, let me know if
Yeah,
you're
you
done.
can make a pose and yeah, I'm just clicking photos and Ikra, once I will done do this, just move towards the closing remarks, and also you can see the link in the chart where you can mark your attendance to get the certificate, and this is the only way you can get certificate because it is the automatic certificate and no other email or WhatsApp messages will be entertained because the certificate is automatic, and this is the only way you can get your certificate by entering your name and your email address. And do make sure to write the correct email because this is very essential to get it to your email, because sometimes the email just get missed because of the incorrect email addresses. And I'm done. Thank you everyone for turning on your cameras, and over to you, Ikra.
While Mariam is taking picture, I would also like to request the participants who are using laptops, please take a screenshot and share with us via email. It will be a great appreciation. Have we done, Mariam?
Yeah, we are done. And
okay, attendance link is already shared.
I would like to request Herbert that I have shared the link in the chat again, and you have to send your name and email in it.
Okay, we all already have a very nice discussion. Let's come toward the ending. So I really want to express my gratitude to our speakers, moderators, and all the participants who shared their expertise on the intersection of gender and climate change. Or insights and perspectives, they shed light on the disproportionate impact of climate change on different gender. And you also highlighted the importance of gender equality in addressing this global issue. So we must acknowledge that climate change is not gender neutral, and we ensure that our efforts to adapt and mitigate its impacts include everyone, Everyone means every male, female, child, infant, and a person of every age, especially those who are most vulnerable. So we must work together to create inclusive and equitable solutions that promote like social factors, economic, and on the top, environmental justice for all gender. So let us continue to engage in these important conversations and take collective actions to build a more sustainable and resilient future. Thank you again to all of you who joined us today. I would like to request all of you again, please mark the attendance which is already shared in the chat box, because there is no other way to get the certificate. If you have done, please just text in the chat box that you have done with your attendance. And then we have to say goodbye. Okay, we have started receiving answers. Okay,
Yeah,
many of you have
and
already
if
done.
anybody has something to tell, you can always go ahead. Yeah, if you have anything, yeah, you can. Uh-huh. I'm really happy to see everyone here, especially a very good ratio of men and women, because the conversation is all about women, but the participation for making women heard is, by both the genders, and it is very important that men play the equal role as the women are fighting for their rights, especially when it comes to climate leadership. And I'm really happy to see people.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Herbert, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry for interjecting. I wanted to ask about the presentations. If one is willing to have a presentation on the next presentation, are we all allowed to have those presentations? Maybe I can prepare and then I will present to everyone in the next session.
Yeah, of course, Herbert. And we will get everyone know that when we are doing any such thing, I would really appreciate if you could join us again. And anybody else who is interested to be the part of our organization, The Earth Needs Love, you can drop an email. The email you are receiving right now, you can always reply to that email that you are interested to be the part of our organization. And for the girls, especially, you can be the part of the movement Women for Environment as well. So if you're interested to be the part of the organization, and if you are in Tanzania, you can always be the part of our big NGO. If anybody is interested to be the part of any organization, you are more than welcome. And you can always email us. And hi, yeah, you can send me a message as well. And my number is, let me just write in the chat. So it is +92 309 0875 419, and you can drop a WhatsApp message at this number. And whatever concern you have, you want to be the part of any future endeavor or anything, you can just drop a message there. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much to all the moderators. Thank you so much, Iman, Ikra, Ifra, Maria, and everyone who are here to be the part of the conversation. All the speakers, especially some really young girls who I know since a long time, like Saira and everybody else who are the part of the conversation today. It is so nice to see all the girls here, all the boys here who are supporting the conversation. And just to let you people know that whatever the contribution you have made today, like in the form of speech or in the form of menti.com sessions, all of your contributions will be compiled together to develop a position paper or a policy brief. And that position paper will be published also on our website, and we will send it to our partners and stakeholders as well. So thank you so much for all your contributions. It meant a lot. And I hope you learned a lot today. And if you are interested to be the part of our organization, just feel free to drop an email by which you are getting the certificate, or just drop a message on WhatsApp. And Tara, you have something to say? Go ahead.
I thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. I'm really, really interested in the activities. I have a little question I want to ask you. Please, if there might be maybe an activity that you people do, like hands-on activity to help enhance these climate issues, I would like to know, and maybe how you do it. Because here in Nigeria, there is a little one I do participate in doing, just like walking around, educating little, and also we do sometimes take a tree planting exercise in places where they do have issues like the erosion activities. So we do help them with this. So I want to know if there are maybe activities you people do on this, please. Thank you.
Yes, Tare, we do such activities, and just feel free to drop me a WhatsApp message. So I will get back to you and we will discuss it in more detail at what we can do together. And I would really love to have you with us. Thank you so much. And right now, this is the time to end the conversation. And yeah, Maria has also shared the email. If you want to be the part of iBig NGO, I believe in green, because iBig NGO is an NGO which works for which is very much focused on environmental conservation. Other than that, they work a lot on women hygiene and sanitation, and they have run a very nice as a very nice project where they provided the sanitation products to the girls of schools. And it was so nice to see that the girls who can't afford the hygiene products for themselves, they were the one who are providing it to them. And if you want to be the part of IBIG NGO, it works in Tanzania. You can always drop an email on mariamdende@gmail.com, and you can see it in the chat. As well, I would like to answer Javeria. Zulfikar, Javeria, you have received the certificate. If you have it, if you have filled the form right now, you will get it in the next 5 to 10 minutes. If you are not getting the certificate, just make sure that you have write the correct email. Also, you check the spam folder of your email. So might be it is in the spam. So thank you so much, everyone. And it was lovely having you. And I would really love to see you again in any other session, might be next month. And thank you so much. And goodbye. And have a good rest of the weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.